Hey everybody, this is Led by Faith. It's a video series I'm doing on how we could practically apply what we read in the Bible to just our daily lives. And so first thing I'm going to do is go through Colossians. Colossians has a lot of really great practical wisdom for us, though sometimes it's in disguise. The first one that I want to talk about is prayer. And I'm going to go through chapter 1, verses 9 through 14. And so, from the day we heard, we have not ceased to pray for you, asking that you may be filled with the knowledge of his will and all spiritual wisdom and understanding, so as to walk in a manner worthy of the Lord, fully pleasing to him, bearing fruit in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of God, being strengthened with all power, according to his glorious might, for all endurance and patience with joy, giving thanks to the Father who has qualified you to share in the inheritance with the saints of light. He has delivered us from the domain of darkness and transferred us to the kingdom of his beloved Son, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sins. Now, Paul is explaining what his prayer for the Colossians are. This is an important thing for us to do ourselves. Pray for people and pray for them like Paul does. Notice that Paul's intention in praying for people, in talking with God about them, is for their spiritual growth. He's not praying for their health or anything like that. And oftentimes in our modern world, we get caught up in praying for a lot of physical things and neglect the spiritual growth of those around us. One of the ways that you can help to develop that idea of praying for people's spiritual growth is to copy Paul's prayer here. Not copy it without thinking, but to copy it and consider it. So let's go through the first thing that he does. He says, I'm asking that you may be filled with the knowledge of his will and all spiritual wisdom and understanding, in verse 9. Wow, I pray that you would learn more about God's will and all wisdom and understanding. Verse 10, so that you would walk in a manner worthy of the Lord. What's the point of all that wisdom and knowledge? So you can walk worthy of the Lord, fully pleasing to him. What would be better in life than pleasing the Lord? We're going to be with the Lord for eternity. Everything else is secondary. Bearing fruit in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of God. The goal of you growing in your knowledge is so you can walk worthy of God and grow even more in that. As C.S. Lewis often said, it was further up and further in. Being strengthened with all power, according to his glorious might, for all endurance and patience with joy, in verse 11. Pray that people would be strengthened to face whatever trials come, that they'll be able to endure with patience and with joy. One of the best things you can ever do in life is develop and fight through a struggle with joy. A long time ago, I was working at a job and I was struggling in a lot of different ways, financially and everything, but the joy that I had in my struggle ended up bringing 2 other people to the Lord. So you want to encourage people in that. You want to be praying for them to do that. In verse 12, giving thanks to the Father who has qualified you to share in the inheritance with the saints of light. Getting people to realize how much they owe to the Father and then to thank him for such grace that he gave to them. It would be a wonderful thing to develop in that. He has delivered us from the domain of darkness and transferred us to the kingdom of his beloved Son, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sins. It's always important to remember that in our prayers. Notice how it says he has delivered us. We've already been delivered from that. We've already been transferred into his Son's kingdom. We already have redemption. And to remember that with the people that we're praying for. Last year, I started reading this and praying for people in this manner. I started off by just copying what Paul wrote here and praying that specifically for people. But then as time went on, I developed and I started praying for them in my own ways that went along with this prayer, praying for their growth, that they could walk worthy of the Lord, that they would be strengthened to face any trials that come their way, and that they would rejoice in the Lord, knowing that no matter what happens here on earth, they are secure in his kingdom. They've already been redeemed, already been transferred to the kingdom of his beloved Son. Now, I hope that this encourages you to pray for people in this way and to focus more on spiritual needs than physical needs. Not to neglect physical needs and prayers for those, but to focus more on spiritual needs and spiritual growth. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope this encourages you. Have a good day.